We're here with Cheen, and as you described, a veteran of the music industry. What are you doing out here at HMMA's event tonight?
Well, I came out to pay respect to the HMMAs and to Brent and to Jim. And I run an organization called the Charlotte Music Awards.
Right.
And we're sister organizations with HMMA. And Brent and I go way back. I'm originally from LA.
Okay.
I'm 45 years in the music business here in LA. And I retired to Charlotte. And after 3 months of retirement, I hated being out of the biz. And I took all my knowledge and all and decided to found and start the Charlotte Music Awards to help musicians in the Carolinas.
So the Charlotte Music Awards, is that also something that has a tremendous emphasis on indie artists and unsigned performers?
Absolutely, absolutely. And being a professional and being in the business for so long, I know more about the music business. I've produced more albums and
Go ahead and rattle some of them off.
well, let's go way back to John and Yoko with Two Virgins. I was the guy that helped market that. I did everything from work with John and Yoko. I was the A&R director for Dark Side of the Moon with Pink Floyd, and I did nothing with that album except I was at Capitol. I was the A&R director, and Pink Floyd was under me.
Wow.
And so whenever they got awards in America, they were over in the UK. I used to go and pick up all their awards. It was a great year for Dark Side of the Moon, and I had all the gear and everything. And from there I went on, I managed War. I managed Rick James for his first 3 albums and his first tours.
Was that tough to manage Rick James? No comment.
Oh yeah. All I can tell you is if you watch Dave Chappelle, nothing is exaggerated. Yeah, everyone thinks, oh, that's exaggerated. Absolutely not. Everything there is absolutely true.
You've also written some pretty famous, popular songs. Brent was just talking to me about. It was Steam. He was saying, go ahead and tell me that story. I heard that was an amazing one.
Na na na, hey hey hey, kiss him goodbye. Na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Okay.
How did that happen?
Here's how that happened. So I had just got a job as the West Coast head of Mercury Records.
Not bad.
Head of A&R, Mercury Records West Coast. And I just started to work. And this was 1970. And we got called to New York to an A&R meeting. And Mercury is a Chicago-based label, but the real A&R power was in New York. So I come into New York, the Chicago A&R guy comes into New York, and the New York A&R guy is already there, and a few of the other Mercury producers, and we're all there a night early. And so, how can we put this? We all went out and got tuned up. and back in the day, man, and I mean tuned up.
I believe you.
On everything.
Right.
And we wound up at the Mercury studio. We owned our own studios.
Right.
And so here we are, a bunch of musicians and a bunch of producers, and we are flying. And we just start to jam. There's a Mercury engineer, real straight, you know, and he's running the house. And we didn't know he was actually recording this craziness that we were doing.
So you guys were just flowing out.
Yeah, and we didn't have words.
Wow.
So the na na na, hey hey hey, you know. It goes over and over and over because that's no words yet. Got to write a song, but that's the melody line, and so we were all pretty messed up, but we didn't know we recorded it. So the next morning we go into the A&R meeting, and each of us has to bring our package of artists we're working with to turn on the rest of the company, and no one's doing any good. I did my package, everyone's going, yeah. And Chicago did their package, and New York did their package, and no one's getting excited. So the engineer, who was the head engineer, he's at the meeting, and he goes, well, I have something to play. We had no idea what it. He mixed it, and he played it. And everyone goes, it's a hit. Who signed these guys? Wow. Oh, my God. They want a name right there on the spot. Who are they? And so this is the winter time in New York. And if you know New York in the winter, you know on the streets from the sewer tops, steam comes up. Who are they? Get out the window. Steam.
Wow.
Steam. They said, great, let's get an album. We need an album. Because the worst thing that could happen is your single hits and you don't have an album to sell.
That's an incredible story.
That's the story. So we had to go and cover our tuchus because we needed a band. So a couple of days later, we drove out to Jersey to the bars until we found some young boys who were playing, and we said, you want to deal with Mercury? You want to sign up? Come on. your steam.
Wow, that story sounds unreal.
And that, yeah, and so Paul Lecca, none of us wanted to own up to it. So Paul Lecca, who was the New York head of A&R, he stood up and said, I did it, it's mine.
Wow.
So I told you all the good stories.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out tonight and supporting the HMA. It's just a tremendous time being able to talk to you about that history. Thank you so much.